and then make a judgment. That's a very simple thing. But can you physically do that? Can you allow everyone to come and see? There has to be someone who has seen with his own eyes and will have to tell the story and say this is not true. But you can't do it easily that way.
So clearly, this is an extremely law-abiding nation. Now, for a nation that has fought a liberation war that lasted 30 years, fully armed, to suddenly become as peaceful a nation as we are immediately after liberation is extraordinary. Here's a nation that is really as peaceful as it can be, despite the fact that it is a war it was a nation that was ravaged by war for 40 years. So clearly, there's something endogenous to Eritrea that allows people to say, we are a nation of laws, and the laws are ours.
Because as I stated, we were established 30 years back, and our main motto at that time was to mobilize women to participate in the liberation movement, which we achieved, and also for the development, social justice of the country, and social equality of women. This is in the process. The women's issue is not the issue of the woman alone. It's the issue of the society. And to achieve that, the government has to work continuously in achieving or in making a conducive environment, be it that the policies have to be gender sensitive, the different programs, as well as the different sectors have to have that kind of gender equality policies and programs. If you are going to have a developed society, it's via education. Education is a tool for what we are looking for, to have a developed and equal society. What kind of education might be the issue? It has to be an education which values the culture of the people and sharing whatever you have, because at the end of the day, what you have been going through education is via the people's resource. So if Eritrea is at the end of the day to be a developed society, the female and male population have to be educated.
There are areas that have never seen schools for generations, and you have to go and do that elsewhere. So what we see now and how we measure our success depends on what we have done to create opportunities for citizens. And all other efforts in political change, political transformation, political institutions is meant to serve the ultimate goal of improving the quality of life and guaranteeing citizenship. So you want to change the quality of life, you want to improve the performance of the communities, institutions of government, to implement programs. You need to educate people, you need to train people. We have about 700 to 800,000 enrolled in all schools. When we entered, when 91, it was about 40 something or 70 maximum, probably now. It's gone well. We're not even satisfied with that. We need to improve the quality.
This is a new sheet. The pest is eaten from this part. The pest is eaten from this part, and they be broken, and the remaining part is couldn't.
The course we're studying is actually agricultural engineering, and agricultural engineering means that the use of water, land, soil, resources, how to use it for the daily activity, for our food. Especially in our country, we need to stabilize our food. We have to secure the food insurance, and it helps us to, conserve water, just the proper usage of water, land, and building dams and infrastructures that actually helps the growth of the agricultural sector.
High. But when we compare to this plot have high nitrogen doses when compared to this. For example, this is treated with 50 kg per hectare and this is treated with 100 kg per hectare. As a result, this is very high growth, more branches, vegetative growth is more, and the yield is very high. And the production of pod is very good, and quality is good, and the production is also good. And as we can see,
Eritrea is a young country with young institutions. Our research, extension systems, and so on are not developed enough. And so we have a lot of challenges because when you have traditional thinking in agriculture, in any area for that matter, then you have to be able to replace it by advanced thinking, which means you have to have trained manpower in agriculture. And so this is also one of the bottlenecks apart from nature, that we have to be able to maximize what is available.
Now, since the government is taking too much, is putting much focus on educational sectors, the government is actually trying to improve the way that the farmers, improve their farming activities, like, for example, building dams, building reservoirs. Just instead of waiting for rainfall to grow their crops, they can use irrigation system.
Because with the building of dams and using the dams properly, people are now cultivating a lot of vegetables and a lot of fruits, which are also important components of food, because usually people, when they talk about food, they talk about cereals. But this, chicken, dairy, horticulture, diversify. So especially with irrigation, people are really producing a lot of vegetables and fruits, which are...
The infrastructure and the fishery sector was all in shambles. After independence, we started from scratch, building the infrastructure and all facilities and services. And now we have about 7 fish landing sites along the coast. And we are trying to manage to build our capacity in both human resources and as well as infrastructure. Besides the coastal area and island people, fish is not picked up by our people as a food. But now it's picking up because it's been the policy of the government to distribute fish with affordable price throughout the country. We are trying to reach all corners of the country. And now people are picking up the habit of eating fish. What we need as a follow-up is to teach our people how to cook and handle fish. That's in the program now. We are hoping very much first to feed our people with fish, which is rich in protein. So also we are trying to export, to increase our export capacity so that we can earn as much as possible foreign currency. So indirectly, it can also play in the food capacity achieving.
Eradicate poverty, and food security is not a long-term goal. It's a transitional goal. Once we secure food, then we need to go beyond that. We need to export food so that we can exchange and enter into trade and investment with other people. We cannot only talk about food security for us. So even in the concept that have been developed within the framework for Millennium Development Goals, you have to be very specific and you have to know your realities. Unless you work hard towards achieving the short, medium, and long-term goals, you will not go anywhere. Then again, health will have to be there. We have referral hospitals, but we have health centers, we have clinics everywhere that would provide services. When you have roads, then it's accessible, it's easier. For those who don't have roads, their areas are not accessible, they are disadvantaged, and you have to design programs so as to access those areas to provide those services, because you're not doing any charity work. This is their right.
This hospital existed since 2006. The hospital started its work from way before. It was in another place just above this hospital, but we moved into this when this new hospital was built, and everybody moved here. So it started its work as of 2006.
It's the general hospital for the whole region?
For Ginda and the subzones around Ginda.
And in every part of Eritrea you have such hospitals?
Yep, for every region we have one referral hospital for each Zoba and other hospitals as well.
And this is a region mainly of peasants. Is it easy for them to have access to healthcare?
Yes, they do. And other than the hospital, we have lots of clinics, health stations and health centers in the subzobas. They have access to them, and when they are referred to this hospital, they get access to this hospital.
So there is really healthcare provided for every Eritrean today?
I believe so.
The government of Eritrea is committed for the well-being of our citizens, and we are working toward that. And we do have a good system in health, and of course there is an involvement of the community that is very important.
So in the hospital, what we do is we give health education to the people who come here in the OPD, and we try to focus on the main diseases we find, on the preventable ones. For example, we have a malaria case. Today is about malaria, the education we need to give. We try to tell all the symptoms about malaria, how to prevent them, regarding all these swamps we have that they dry it, that they need to dry it, the breeding sites of mosquitoes, and the bed nets. We make sure that they have bed nets, and we tell them if any of the symptoms appear, they need to come to the hospital as quick as possible, and mostly to the children and pregnant women. I recently graduated last year, December, and as part of the national and community service we need to make 2 years, I was assigned in Ginda Hospital. That's why I'm working here.
Actually, the Minister of Health is responsible for the health and well-being of the citizen, but we work together with our partners. It is multi-sectoral and multidisciplinary, approach, because we are working with other ministries, with other sectors, as well with our partners. Health means it is not only supplying drug, but the environmental issue comes first. If there is cleanliness, if there is clean water, it is a general approach. So we work towards promotion of health through health education and sanitation, and of course, environmental health in general. So we are working towards that.
You only care about production, regardless of what impact it has. So what I will say is, now I think some countries have started to buy biological, ecological, some sections of the society. And this is a trend that should go. Mm-hmm. People must be aware of what they are eating. How is it produced? What kind of things went into it? If you have, infested your land for 100 years using chemicals and so on, Do you know how many years it takes really to rehabilitate the land? If at all you can do it. So sometimes it becomes too late, you know. We cannot really abuse the resources that we have and go into just productivity at whatever cost. Yes, we want to increase productivity, but it must at the same time also make sure.
Understood that most of the Western media are not saying the truth about this country. So the final question is, why are there so many media lies told about Eritrea?
Quand j'entends les médias dire que l'Érythrée c'est un pays épouvantable, qu'il n'y a aucune démocratie, ça me rappelle ce qu'ils ont déjà dit sur une série d'autres pays avant pour les diaboliser. Chaque fois qu'un gouvernement essaye de suivre une voie indépendante de la Banque mondiale, du FMI, des multinationales, chaque fois qu'il décide de servir les intérêts de son propre peuple, il va se retrouver diabolisé. On a fait ça pour Cuba, on a fait ça pour le Venezuela, on a fait ça pour la Bolivie. Tout pays qui essaye un développement indépendant et avoir son propre développement, il va se retrouver diabolisé dans les médias.
Early 90s, after 91, in 93, immediately after that, 1 year or maybe 2 years, a World Bank delegation was here. And they said they would like to write us a country program inclusive of development programs, health, education, infrastructure, water, energy, what have you. And we said, why can't we write our program? They said, that is a norm. No one in Africa has written a country program. The World Bank has the authority and it writes the program of everybody else. How can the World Bank know my needs in my house, in my country?
Why now they incite and they try to create difficulties for the Eritrean government? Because for simple reason, the Eritrean project, it's not only Eritrean project, it had been a Horn of Africa project that would have been stopped and sabotaged, and Eritrean project continued in an Eritrean level. I see, as an Ethiopian, Eritrean project is not only Eritrean project, it is an African project, it is a Horn of African project, and it is a humanistic project.
And so when Eritrea says we'll be self-sufficient, don't look at it as if it's arrogance. I think this mentality from Europeans and Americans is, you're poor, you're no good, we will feed you. That has to change. If anybody says, listen, yes, I am poor, but I want you to help me help myself, it should be respected. And I think Eritrea is that kind of country.
And that's where many of these conditionalities from the World Bank and the IMF are not conditionalities that have come from the skies. These are conditionalities dictated by special interests.
One of the reasons, apart from the vision of Eritrea have about 1,300 kilometer coast in the Red Sea. Opposite of Saudi Arabia, Yemen, down until the Bab el-Mandab. Second, Eritrea have more than 300 islands. United States wants a lot of military bases. It have military bases in Djibouti because of its position, but also because of its resources. Now it is discovered in Eritrea. And having also now a lot of wells in the ground and the Indian Ocean, like gas and oil. For this, Western imperialist multinationals, they want to position themselves now in order to control these resources before the competitors can have an access, or the competitor companies from Asia can have an access.
Chaque fois qu'un pays est une cible des États-Unis, soit à cause de ses ressources pétrolières, énergétiques, matières premières, ou alors que c'est un pays qui occupe une position stratégique que les États-Unis veulent contrôler pour contrôler toute une région, des routes maritimes, des axes stratégiques, ce pays et ses dirigeants vont se retrouver diabolisés. Ça se retrouve avant chaque guerre, avant chaque agression.
For me, it's very simple. I know the guys, I know them individually, I at least know who pays them, how they make their earning, how they earn their living, and whom they serve. If they are coming to serve Mr. Soros, that's a different story. If they're coming to serve me, serve the people in the continent, then that's another story. That's the other side of the story.
Il y a derrière les infos qu'on nous donne des choses qui ont été préparées par des experts en communication. En anglais, ça s'appelle psyops, des experts en manipulation psychologique de l'opinion. Et en fait, on croit qu'on reçoit comme ça des infos qui viennent juste d'un journaliste, mais ce que George Soros fait, c'est qu'il finance l'International Crisis Group, Human Rights Watch, Havas, etc. Ces gens-là diffusent des campagnes, des rapports, des informations. Et ce qui est très intéressant, c'est que dans des journaux comme Le Monde, Libération, le New York Times, ou dans les grandes télés comme la BBC, TF1, etc., ces informations sont présentées comme venant d'experts indépendants, à l'International Crisis Group, à un groupe qui s'attache à la prévention des conflits. Ça a l'air magnifique. En réalité, c'est l'argent de Soros qui est derrière, mais ça, on ne va jamais le dire. Ou Human Rights Watch aussi, on ne va jamais dire que c'est l'argent de Soros derrière. Donc en fait, ce que le lecteur, le spectateur doit absolument se rendre compte, c'est que derrière l'info, il y a des intérêts, il y a de l'argent, et il faut toujours se demander qui m'informe et dans quel but.
You repeat it again and again. I say this is part of the tradition they have inherited from Hitler. The propaganda machine of those systems, and particularly Hitler's propaganda machine, one of the most efficient propaganda machines. You manipulate public opinion. You even intoxicate public opinion sometimes, make people don't even question very simple questions. It's illegal. It should be illegal to disinform people. It should be illegal and immoral to manipulate opinion. If you do that, then it's been immoral since millennia. The Bible doesn't allow it. The Quran does not allow it. And morality does not allow it. You can't do that.
Quand les médias et les gouvernements parlent de l'Érythrée, je reconnais tous les symptômes de la préparation d'une agression. Est-ce que ça se fera par une invasion, par un coup d'État, par d'autres manœuvres de guerre civile, que sais-je ? Ça, c'est une chose qu'on ne peut pas dire, mais je reconnais tous les symptômes de la préparation d'une agression. Et il va arriver pour le peuple d'Érythrée ce qui est arrivé en Somalie, en Irak, en Afghanistan, en Libye, ce qui pourrait arriver en Syrie. Ça va être la catastrophe. Ou bien on se rend compte que, en fait, on doit laisser les peuples décider eux-mêmes quels dirigeants ils veulent, quel système social ils veulent, à quoi ils veulent consacrer l'argent de leur richesse, et on doit laisser les peuples vivre en paix et se déterminer eux-mêmes sur ce qu'ils veulent.
Because the majority of the Eritrean people are united toward their government and united toward their vision. My understanding as an Ethiopian, and this film can contribute a lot, not only to educate and create a solidarity with the Eritrean people there, but also to educate the peoples of the Horn of Africa. The project we have started in the past, that it is, we the people of Horn of Africa, we are one. And we want peace. And we want bread for our people. We want also our children to go to school. We want clinics. We want our elderly people to have medicine. We want peace. We are tired. We are asking the international community, if it exists, give us a chance, give a peace. Please don't intervene in our affair. Let us alone. Let us manage alone. Thank you.
In front of Asmara Cathedral, we saw young Christians and Muslims dancing together, showing their joy in meeting each other and being reunited. Eritrea is a nation on march, a multi-confessional and multicultural republic. a country from which we have a lot to learn.